So I'm not yet engaged, but probably soon will be. And to be fair, before I even met the guy, I was planning on this summer being the summer I work on this because I knew I needed to get it done. So I bought fabric, and I guess we'll go ahead and talk about it. And then we're gonna make the cover. It's gonna be an applique quilt. So let's talk about the ideas behind it first. So it's gonna be a Rhoda Sharon quilt, which is like the quintessential wedding quilt design. This isn't technically my wedding quilt. I have a wedding quilt my grandmother made me back when I was in college or right after college a while ago. And that's my wedding quilt. What I want is a historic wedding quilt that I can bring to events. And that's what this is going to be. So it's not my actual wedding quilt, it's my wedding quilt but historic, which my wedding quilt is also a Rose of Sharon quilt. It's just more vintage style as opposed to 1800s historic. So that's what this is. So Rose of Sharon is an applique quilt, and it just basically has, it's traditionally red and green on a white background, little wreaths of red flowers with the green leaves. And I'm copying one particular quilt that was finished prior to 1850, somewhere in between the range of 1830 and 1850. And it has a scalloped edging to it too, but the actual edge isn't scalloped. There's a straight edge, which sounded a lot easier to me to bind than a scalloped edge, although I do like scalloped edges. And actually my real wedding quilt, I believe, has a scalloped edge, but this one's just straight. It just has a scalloped border. So I am copying a particular quilt. I think it's from the Wisconsin Historical Society. I'll have to look at that in detail. I don't have really good pictures of this quilt. I have found where an almost identical, if not identical, pattern from another historic quilt from the 1850s. So I'm using that one because I have close-ups of that one, at least of the block part. But I think the one I'm doing is the block's kind of turned on its side because it's more diamond-y shaped. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I have lots of white cotton, which is what we're going to be working on today. So we're going to make the quilt front, which is just literally stitching white cotton together to make a quilt that's wide enough. And then the patterning part is, again, applique. So that's what we're going to be doing next month. A lot of white cotton, which we'll cut out in a moment, or we're going to rip. Let's be real. I did buy some reproduction cotton for this. Now, some of the Rose of Sharon quilts have little yellow, I guess, the flower centers in all the flowers. The one I'm looking at, both the ones I'm looking at, do not have that. So I'm not going to do the yellow part. I'm just going to do the green and the red. So this one is my red. Went to needle and thread, I guess last week actually, and got all this fabric. So I've been looking and looking online. I couldn't quite figure out what I wanted. It's hard to tell online exactly what shades are going to really go well together and exactly what their patterns really work. So I went in person to look. So this one is from Moda. It's Lady's Legacy by Barbara Brackman. And it's just a little pretty floral design to it. I really liked this red. It's not too bright of a red. It's kind of a more muted red, which I prefer. There's a tinge of brown in this red. And it just came out the wash. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this up. We're not going to need this month anyway. At least better. Okay. And then the green, which I was between a couple of different greens. In fact, one of the greens I really considered, I actually used for the last quilt we did on the channel, the 1830s, 20s, 30s. I call it the watermelon quilt because it's pink and green. But the green that I used there, I almost considered using that again. And the only thing that held me back was because I'd already used it for a quilt. I was like, I don't want to do this again, but I really liked the pattern. But I like this one a little bit more. It has a scrolling design to it, which I think kind of reminded me of these. So I was like, that works. But this one is Marcus Fabrics. By Molly B Studio. And it's hard to find pretty greens in reproduction fabrics. They're pretty ugly greens. And part of that is green is kind of a hard color to get in natural dyes, but then they don't always stay very color fast. So what we're seeing today is not necessarily the shade they would have been 150 years ago. They definitely, a lot of them appear more brown and very icky. So I was happy to find a nice green that's still perfectly acceptable within the realm of natural dyes. It's just, it looks like it would have a long time ago and not what the fabric looks like now. And I bought 3 yards of each of the colors, so the green and the red, which I think should be enough. If not, I picked out the fabric, so it should be easy to find again if I need it. And that's basically the supplies. I mean, it's not terribly difficult. It's just white cotton, red cotton, green cotton, and that's basically it. Not a lot of special supplies for this project. What we are going to do is go ahead and rip these panels. I'm pretty sure this is the fabric I bought for the quilt. Oh, it's like already what it needs to be. See, I thought I was going to have to seam this like the original. I'll probably still will seam it. Yes. Okay. We're still going to seam it. Because I want it to look like the original. Hello, may I help you? May I help you? Yeah. I have a fruit in here. Yeah, I'm gonna get them. There you go. Fixed it. Sorry. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna cut this. Nice and straight. And then I'm going to cut this. I believe the original was like 96.5 inches long. So we're going to cut it at a little bit over that, just to be safe. And then I can adjust as needed, so I just cut like a few inches off. So I think I'm going to cut it at 100 inches. Now rip into pieces so I can sew them together by hand. Because I'm a perfectionist. Okay. Would be it that I didn't care this much. Okay. Also, I kind of do need the seams though, because I need to line up the appliques like on the seam lines. This is going to help keep my stuff straight. So I kind of do need them. But it is 4. So, okay. It's too late to do math. Because this is a little wider than I need it to be, I think. A 100 inches minus divided by 4 would be 25 inches plus seam allowances on either side. 26 inches. Okay, 26 inches. I think again, make sure they should be over 100 inches wide. Are you being a helper? Yes, okay, we're a little bit over. What I am going to do, because these stellages are fuzzy and I don't want that, I'm going to cut the stellage off. Actually, I need 95 inches or 96 inches. So really what I need is to cut at 25 inches. So it's 25 inches, and I take it that seam allowance, that's 24 inches, 24 times 4 is about 96, which is what I need. Okay. 24-inch panels, 25-inch panels. So that'll be 24 inches when I'm done. 25 inches. This will very good to rip panels just to sew them back together. I debated whether I want to hand sew this thing completely or if I want to use one of the antique machines on the insides, and well, the applique doesn't have to be done by hand anyway. And I think that's what we're going to go with, is sew it together by machine, but then have the course do the applique by hand. Alright, there's my 4 panels. And all that needs to do, that just needs to be sewed together. All 4 of them. There's the cat. Barrels into it. And then that's basically all we're going to do this month. And then next month we'll pattern out what we need and cut pieces and get all of the patterning done and the applique done. So I'll sew this together and I'll see you at the sewing machine. Alright, here we are sewing together the seams. I did say antique machine, but then I realized that, well, A, this one was already here and it was already threaded, so why not? And also, the antique machine I had in mind was the Wilcoxon Gibbs out back there. But the chain stitch machine didn't get invented until the late 1850s. So it would be more accurate to work it on this machine, which does a lock stitch, which was available, a decade or two earlier than that machine was. So, although it's even though it's the modern machine, it is at least the stitch is more accurate. Not that anyone's going to be seeing the stitching because it's going to be on the inside, but still, I will know that it's a lock stitch and not a machine, not a chain stitch. That is the front. So that's all stitched together. This needs to be ironed so that next month we can work on the applique part. However, we're done this month. So thank you so much for joining me as we started our new long-term wedding quilt project. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, have a fantastic week, and I will see you back here on Monday.